lot of thoughts going through my mind, and there was a lot of things that was just happening, and I could not release it and sleep until I wrote it down. In order for this to work, I need your participation. Imagine you see a red vase on a table, and the background is all grayscale. First, I need you to picture that. Can you picture it? If not, here it is. Now that we have that red vase pictured in our mind and we also had that visual representation, imagine now something is getting poured into this vase, and that something wants to expand. And if it expands, it is going to lead the vase to crack. And if the vase cracks, we all know what happens. It's going to shatter. So imagine that, something being poured. So someone is like, no, I do not want this vase to crack. I do not want what's being poured in here to shatter my vase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this vase up. I'm going to bottle it up so that I can add some pressure to whatever is trying to expand this vase. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to harden it so that it has some compressive forces to fight against this tension that's coming. That's what I'm gonna do. So at this point, I wanna know what you think is happening to this material that was poured into this vase. Well, for me, what I see is happening to this material is that it is being neutralized. It is not able to expand because it's surrounded by something that's wanting to compress it, that's wanting to squeeze it in place, that's wanting to interact or outnumber or out strengthen it so that it does not expand. So I only wanted to bring this up because I wanted to create that visual representation of what happens to people sometimes, and to make this personal, what happens to me. This is something that impacts me daily and in my moment to moment decisions. For example, over the weekend, I was volunteering with putting wreaths up at grave sites where our veterans lay. And while they're in the ceremony, the speaker was saying something that touched me. And rather than allowing my tears to flow, I held them back. Later along that process of volunteering, I saw a section of the cemetery where there were gravestones that had unknown written on it. And the idea of knowing that people did not get the luxury of being able to bury their loved ones, not knowing where they are, not knowing if they are dead or alive, also impacted me. And in that moment, also wanted to cry. But instead, I held it all inside. I bottled it up. I created this video because a lot of us bottle things up. I created this video because I do not want to continue to bottle things up. How I feel can be expressed. What I'm feeling is okay to feel. It's human nature. Whoever is hearing this, whoever can benefit from this, I hope that you're receiving and benefiting. Not because I said it, but because it was put on my heart to say. Recently, essentially, there's this verse that says, "Get up, get your mat and walk," or "pick up your mat and walk." Now, I might not be quoting it perfectly, but I will leave it somewhere on the screen. But it speaks to a man who was disabled and could not walk. This was a man who, for 38 years, stayed in this condition. And it took Jesus coming towards him or to him, crossing his path, for him to have that space, that capability to now take action, because through Jesus's words, he was able to get up and walk. And because he wanted to get up and walk and trust that he could get up and walk, he was able to get up and walk. I'm encouraging me. This is what I told myself like for the past 2 days. Get up and walk. I'm gonna take my mat and walk. I am encouraging you to do the same.